everyone, and welcome to day 9 of 100 Days of Code with Chimdide Samuel.
So I continued building my dice app, and today I was going to be learning about making the dice image change reactively. So how the app works is basically whenever you click on any of the buttons that has the face of the dice, it changes that face to another one. So I was going to be learning a lot of things like variables, data type. I was also going to be knowing the difference between the stateless and the stateful widget. I was also going to be using the set state function, and I was also going to be allowing my dice change at random. So the first thing that I was going to be learning about was creating a stateful widget. So we've been using the stateless widget, and the stateless widget doesn't really allow us to make changes in the app. So we had to change that to a stateful widget. So this allows us to change the face of the app, and I already did that in my code. And though it didn't make any significant change, but I knew that I was going to need it later on. After setting my app to a stateful widget, the next thing that I needed to do was to learn about the variables. So after learning about the different kinds of variables and the different kinds of data types, the next thing that I needed to do was to create a variable that was going to hold my dice number. So I did that, and I also learned about string interpolation so that I would use the variable instead of the hard-coded numbers. When my variable and my string interpolation was all set, the next thing that I did was that I started using the set state method. So this allows us to change the face of the app whenever I click on that image. After running my app, I realized that I was still writing out the numbers for the face of the dice that I want to be displayed after clicking on it. So what I learned about next was importing the Dart math library. So I added that to my code, and then I started using the random number function. So this allows us to pick a random number. Like, I don't know the number that is going to be selected. So it allows us to pick a random number, and it changes that in my code to the number that it has actually selected. And then whenever I click on my buttons, it just picks a random face of the dice. Then Angela gave us the first challenge of the day. This challenge wasn't difficult, so basically we're supposed to do the same thing that we had done for the left button for the right button too. So we're going to click on the right button, and then it would select any face of the dice at random. After that, we were given a second challenge. This second challenge wasn't difficult at all because basically whenever I click on one of the dice image, it actually changes both of the dice faces to something else. So that was the challenge. I did that and everything was cool. And then lastly, the third challenge. This challenge was simple also. So basically, we're supposed to remove the repeated code and use a function instead. So I did all that. I ran my code and everything was perfect. So after completing all the challenges, I was done with the DICE app. And that brings me to the end of day 9 of 100 Days of Code with Chimdije and Samuel. So I'm really glad that I was able to complete this section. And I'm actually happy about my progress so far. I think my main fear for this 100 Days of Code journey is that I would not be able to be consistent, and at some point I might give up. I think that's like my greatest fear so far. I'm just scared that I would not complete this 100 days of code, and I'll be really sad at myself, and I'll also be disappointed at myself because I know that there are a lot of people that are watching, and I know there are a lot of people that are being inspired by this journey. So I'm also scared that I might let you guys down. So please try to cheer me on and follow my social medias, and I'll see you guys at day 10.